Hello guys, in this tutorial video we're going to learn multiplying decimals. Okay, so to begin we're going to start with a hundredths grid because this is how we model multiplying decimals. Okay, so let's say that in my hundredths grid I have 3/10. Okay, and 3/10 is written like that. Well, if I wanted 2/10 of my 3/10, okay, so here is 2/10 of my 3/10. Okay, my solution would be 6/100. Okay, and the way we would represent it as a multiplication problem, okay, two tenths of 3/10 is equal to 6/100. So that would be how we multiply decimals with the model. Okay, however, we're not always going to have these real friendly decimals. So it's important to learn how to multiply larger decimals. So let's say that I'm looking for 1 4/10 of 3 7/10. The first thing you want to do is you want to estimate your answer. Okay, so 1 4/10, we can say, well, it's actually closer to 1 1/2. If we want to say 1 1/2, or if we want to stick with 1, we can stick with 1 and know that we are underestimating. Okay, and 3 7/10, we can round it up to 4. So our solution should be approximately 4. Okay, sometimes estimation can kind of help you with your multiple choice answers, but in this case, this is going to help us determine where to place our decimal. Okay, so when we're multiplying regular decimals, you want to first multiply them as if there are no decimals. So if this number didn't have a decimal, it would be 14. And if this number didn't have a decimal, it would be 37. And you can multiply traditionally. You can multiply using the grid, okay, if you're more comfortable with that. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply traditionally, okay. So 7 times 4 is 28. I'm going to carry my 2. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 2 is 9. And since I'm done with this place value and moving on to the next, I'm going to place a 0 because I'm in the new place value. If it was a regular number, I went from ones to tens. Okay, so 3 times 4 is 12. So I'm going to put my 1 and carry my 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. And then I'm going to add them. Okay, 8 plus 0 is 8. 9 plus 2 is 11. Carry the 1. And 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay, now this is why your estimation is important. The place where we're going to place our decimal, we estimated about 4, and we can assume that it was probably an underestimation. Okay, so my solution would have to be 5 18/100. But to make sure, if I place my decimals back where they belong, don't forget this was 1.4 and this was 3.7, or 1 4/10 and 3 7/10. And you're going to count your spaces. So this is 1, and total is 2. Okay, So I'm going to move my decimal back 2 spaces. And I can conclude that my solution is correct because it's close to 4. So my solution is 5 1800ths. And this strategy can work with any decimal. And I recommend you estimate before you solve it. And that's going to help you determine whether or not you placed your decimal in the correct spot. So this concludes the tutorial video for multiplying decimals.